Good morning and welcome to my reflection today. As I compose this reflection, the world was holding its breath and still is, as Russian forces and their elements of military might position themselves around the Ukrainian border. This could potentially be the most significant military activity involving NATO, Europe and Russia since 1945, and the world is rightly worried. It is one of those situations where, as an individual, it's difficult to know what to do. As a Christian, I know we can and should pray for de-escalation and peace. I have done this, as I'm sure millions of others have too. The issue I have is I know my faith is not as strong as it should be, and therefore, despite my prayers, worry and concern still predominate. I have reached for my Bible to find some comfort, and I have been reminded of one of the most famous passages in the Bible, Psalm 23. Christians and many folk, whether they're Christians or not, just know Psalm 23. All around the world turn to that particular psalm as a source of comfort for life's challenges. People have incorporated it into songs and teachings to show the goodness of God upon our lives. In the first four verses of Psalm 23, David takes the gentle picture of a shepherd with his sheep to describe the relationship God has with us and we with him. Everything makes sense in our understanding of a shepherd leading his flock to green grass and calm waters. Then we get to verse 4 and it does not fit. The valley of the shadow of death conjures thoughts of a dangerous situation, where a sheep's life is in jeopardy unless the shepherd is alert and attentive. But why would a sheep be going through such a place? Not because he strayed off in sin. That is not the point here. Because the shepherd is pictured as going with the sheep, not snatching him back to the pasture he left behind. The connection between verses 3 and 4 confirm this. The path through the valley is also one of the paths of righteousness in which God leads. He guides me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. The valley of the shadow of death can have many interpretations, such as illness, poverty, war, and the threat of war. To counteract this, the second half of verse 4, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. With God, there is always hope for a better life. He gives us hope for the restoration of our souls when we sin or others hurt us. We can be hopeful even when we are in the valleys of life where evil surrounds us. He is always there with us, and we do not have to deal with the situations, those very difficult situations, alone. God promises to right our wrongs and ensures justice and righteousness prevail in our lives. He does not let our enemies trample over us. He does protect us from our enemies, and when they think we have failed or fallen, he prepares a table to honour us as they watch. So we need to fix our eyes on Jesus, our good shepherd. We need to stick close to him, trust that he knows the way through this valley, and will see us through safely. We need to believe he has good reasons for taking this route, even though we won't necessarily know them at the time, and even though that route will be hard and unfamiliar. It is important at this time to hold on to the truth that there is something better waiting on the other side of this valley. In the context of this reflection, I'm seeing the threat of war, or threat of the imminent invasion of Ukraine, as the valley, and I am praying that our great God, the Good Shepherd, continues to guide his sheep to where he wants them to feed, drink, water and rest. And that clearly includes the political sheep and the political scenarios that are operating outside. God guides us daily towards the path he has ordained for us. Like sheep, we do not always know which way to go or what to do. God, the Good Shepherd, leads us along paths of righteousness. Thank you for listening.